Right, well, SimCity has come a long way since its first incarnation in 1989, and while the series has branched off with things like SimCity Societies and Sim Safari, nothing beats the original enduring glee of hours of city planning.
I played SimCity 2000 when I was a kid and I loved it, so part of me felt like a bit of an old pro sitting down to this. If you're new to city builders, it's basically a genre of game where you get to plan an entire city. Sims will move in and start building structures, and you'll have to manage your budget well so that you can keep providing all the necessary services like hospitals and schools to keep your city expanding. I quickly learned, however, that despite having gotten older, I'm just as careless with my money as ever, and I sent 2 cities bankrupt.
Oh, Hex. Clearly you're not a strong enough leader. You need to rule your Sims with an iron pasta scoop.
I know, Darren. I want to give the people what they want. They just want so much, and I could never stay on top of it all.
Yes, and no matter how organised I was, you can never prepare for anything, like this tornado.
Well, the game certainly looks slick, and while a lot feels familiar, there are a few changes to the core gameplay that differ from the city builder I remember. First and foremost, this installment requires you to be connected to the internet at all times just to play it.
Indeed. When we tried to review this game, we often had trouble connecting to the servers, and there were a lot of issues for a lot of people. Though, thankfully, that has now mostly been resolved.
What did you think of the multiplayer badge?
Well, in this game, you're able to choose from a handful of pre-created terrain options, which provide a varying number of set locations for players to claim. You can inhabit these terrains with friends, or join an existing map filled with other random players already building away and stake a spot next to them.
This system is in place so that you have easy access to set up trade negotiations with your neighbours. You can help your friends or get them to help you out with things like water supply or garbage collection when you find yourself in a bit of financial trouble, like Hex, Spendy McSpend Pants over here.
All right, Darren.
Well, when this worked, it worked really well. Plus, it's nice being able to nosy over and take a sticky beak at your friends' cities whenever you feel like it.
Yeah, that was cool. Although there were parts of this game that did feel quite restrictive, I thought. I mean, my memory of SimCity was being able to mould and shape the landscape to whatever I chose, you know, putting rivers or lakes in if I wanted to or filling them in, but here you're kind of given your little dotted square and you really have to stay within that.
Happily, the city building stays true to its roots. You begin by zoning residential, commercial and industrial areas for your Sims to build in, connect them with roads, and then make sure they all have access to both water and power.
You can have your very own superhero living in your city, and a villain to create chaos with his evil henchmen. The superhero needs to be paid, but he'll take care of the henchmen for you. And it's worth having the villain, as he rewards you with money for helping him execute his evil doings. It's all about creating a balance. However, prioritising can be tricky.
I had so many fire stations, big ones too, so I couldn't work out why my city was always burning down.
Well, Hex, there are a number of contributing factors to consider as to why your buildings are burning down. Too many abandoned buildings are a fire risk. Criminals can set fires because you haven't got enough squad cars at your police station, or your jail cells are full. No high schools in the area also mean people aren't educated in basic fire safety, so they're constantly setting fires by accident. And if you haven't upgraded your roadways to large, expensive avenues, fire trucks will always get caught in traffic and not be able to put out the blaze in time.
Yes, just when I thought I had enough money to start expanding my roads, bam, power outage. I now need to spend all my savings on upgrades to my power plant or nothing will have power and everything will shut down.
I know, it never ends, and suddenly I'm so far in debt that there's no coming out of it. My only choice then was to raise the taxes by a lot, then all my Sims hated me and they left. I knew then that it was over.
Yes, and it's at this point where your only course of action left is to unleash the lizard.
The suggestions and hints from all the various heads of departments are pretty clear in the way they'll guide you towards the best course of action to solve a problem too, so that stuff's really good.
There are benefits to playing with friends, but solo play works too. You could start a bunch of your own cities on one map and have them trading with each other. Then you can be revered as the giant overlord of the Sim universe, ruling with an iron...
With an iron pasta scoop, I know, Darren. I think that would be a bit stressful, though, managing all of your own cities in the one map, but I'm sure you'd be very good at it. Ultimately, I think the fact that I still lost so much sleep just stuck in a city planning zone is proof that SimCity is still doing something right.
It is a bit hard to recommend this game right now, though, because of all those online connection issues. I'm sure they'll be ironed out eventually, though, and that aside, I had a great time with this, Hex. I'm giving it 7.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Yeah, it's a shame because I could sense my friends' frustration as I saw them constantly signing in and out trying to maintain a stable connection. But when it worked and we were online and playing, we had such a good time, so I'm giving it 7.
Hex's town is burning down, burning down, burning down. Hex's town is burning down, my fair lizard.
Come on,
Barjo
wasn't
streets
that
are
bad?
filled with poo, filled with poo, filled with poo. Barjo streets are filled with poo.
Sound like it.
Too much sewage.
Sound like it, Darren.